Hello everyone, I'm Benny Ferguson, and the title of this video is, Am I Winning My Son? I don't know, this is a very sensitive topic for me. It's a big deal for me because, even before I had children, I had an idea of who I wanted them to be, the type of parent that I wanted them to be. And because I had that idea, it has, somewhat guided me in my personal development, so that I'm trying to be the person that enables the type of relationship that I need to have with my children, that enables me to be the model for them to be strong individuals. Knowing that it doesn't come from lip service, it doesn't come from telling them what they need to do or who they need to be, how they need to behave. When you really get down to it, it comes from our model as parents. They model us. No matter what we say, they model us. And so, am I winning my son? My oldest son has a PS Vita. It's a nice game, a PlayStation game, and he has a game that he's wanted for it for a while. He had a birthday, got gifts and that type of thing, and he wanted to go to GameStop. He got some gift cards, and he wanted to go to GameStop to get this one particular game that he'd been telling me and his mom about. And so last night I had to go to the store, so I took him. And I was waiting in the car, wanted to let him go in so that he can begin to, handle his business on his own. But I had to come in because he couldn't buy it on his own because the game was rated mature. They have the different ratings nowadays. And so I went in, I asked a few questions about the game, and come to find out that, it's rated mature for blood and violence and all these things. And come to find out that he has another game that I've seen him play and looks very interesting, but it has all these things also. It's rated mature, but it also had nudity. And bad parent, maybe, I don't know. I didn't know that. And the guy was like, yeah, that game is worse than this one. I'm like, worse than this one? Really? So anyway, ended up getting the game, but I told him that me and his mom was going to have a talk about it. And we were going to talk to him about the game and the situation. And we had that conversation last night. I didn't push for the conversation, but we ended up having it right before he went to bed, and it was a great conversation. And my point was that you have to protect your mind. And, the point to him was you have to protect your mind. Even as adults and as parents, we are trying to assist in that protection at the moment. You can't, we can only do what we can. He's still going to come in contact with the different things at school and through other people, but at home we can protect his mind as far as what goes into it, and assist him with becoming a person that's strong enough to be able to deny certain ideas and certain thoughts and things that come into his mind. And so that was our concern with the violence and those type things that were in this video game that he purchased, and, come to find out, a video game that he already had and had already been playing. And the reason it's important is because the things that go into your mind through your senses, the things that we see visually, the things that we hear, how different experiences make us feel. If they're unchecked, if you don't frame your experiences correctly, they can damage you. And all the things that go into your mind get recorded by your subconscious. And yes, even my oldest son, he said, I don't see the big deal. And that's the problem with most adults. We don't see the big deal. We don't realize that whether it's a positive experience or negative experience, the types of movies we watch, the types of news that we allow to go into our mind through repetition, they get into your subconscious mind. And through repetition, as they go into your subconscious mind, through your senses, through your sight, through your sound, through your feeling, when these thoughts get into your subconscious mind and through repetition, the moment you begin to believe them to be true, you say, yeah, I see the fighting and stuff. I'm just playing a game, but I see on the news people are fighting all the time now. I see on the news that people are speaking a certain way. They have a rash, harsh tone, and then they wonder why the relationships fall apart. They're speaking this way to each other. They're behaving these ways. People are fighting all of the time. And we don't see the subtle changes, but you see these things happening, and we play these games and we watch these movies and we begin to accept that these things are real in physical experience. And once you begin to believe in those things as an individual, once you begin to believe in those things, they stop being just something you watch on TV or something you see on the news. They actually will become your experience. You actually begin to run into those type people the minute you begin to believe in those things, and that belief is cemented in your subconscious because you allowed it to come into your mind over and over again through repetition. That's how your beliefs get created. That's how your dominant ideas get created. And that's why it's important, because the minute you begin to believe, again, it becomes a part of your personal individual experience. And that's the thing that I'm trying to protect from my children at the moment. In the present, while they're children, I'd have to protect what goes into their mind. And my oldest son, he seemed to understand. We'll have more conversations about it, and we've already been having conversations about it. The importance of paying attention to the things that come into your mind, that you allow into your mind, before you are mentally capable and strong enough to discard those things, to mentally block them out. Even though you may be watching it or a friend may be talking about certain negative experiences, you have to be able to block those things out to the point so that you don't internalize them, so that they don't become beliefs in your mind, so they don't become dominant ideas in your mind, because it happens subtly. And that's the problem. We, even as adults, we don't realize that they happen so subtle, and they become a part of our nature and then become a part of our experience so subtle that we don't realize what's happening. Let me give you some examples. I can remember growing up when radio announcers didn't use curse words. You didn't hear cursing on the radio. You didn't hear songs played with cursing in the songs. Now, there were sexual hints, things that related to sex in songs. Even when I was young, I didn't know it, but there were. But now it's directly and it's out front and it's obvious. That wasn't the case when we were growing up, or those songs didn't get played on the radio. And the radio announcers definitely weren't cursing and using those types of words. Now it's okay. Another thing that I see, fighting in professional sports. I have seen so many fights already this year in professional football on the field, because it's becoming a part of our culture, and it's becoming normal. And the more we see it, the more we'll accept it as being normal. But growing up, it's not even been that many years ago, I don't remember seeing so many fights. You very rarely saw a fight in professional football, in professional sports, and now it's becoming the norm. But it happens subtly, and it's a mindset, it's an idea, and it's the belief in those ideas that these things are true and real, that they become experience in so many people's lives. And you have to protect your mind. I know this video has run long, but being a parent is serious to me. It's a big deal. Recognizing my part in protecting my children's minds until they're strong enough, until they recognize the experiences, the behaviors, the ideas, the language that they choose to accept and allow into their minds, because that's where the game starts. Number one, you have to protect what goes in your senses and gets into your mind. And number two, you have to make sure that you're focused and concentrated on the experiences that you want to have, so that you're developing those types of ideas, those types of beliefs in your subconscious mind. I hope this makes sense. I try to be as clear as I can, but it applies to being a parent. It applies to being a business owner, an entrepreneur. It applies to your intimate relationships. It applies to your relationships with colleagues at work. It applies to every single area of your life. It starts in your mind. It starts with the ideas that you entertain, the information that you allow into your mind, and it starts with the ideas and the beliefs that you are creating for yourself that either propel you forward or they hold you back. I'm going to stop here. I'm interested in your comments, your questions. This is something that we can continue to dive into for your benefit and for my benefit. My name is Benny Ferguson. For more information on this type of topic, visit us at www.mindingthediamondwithin.com to begin to learn how to be brilliant in every area of your life. Thank you.